mode now.
Yeah, all right.
Welcome everybody to Healing Conversations with Elie and Cat. We are back again, and today we have the beautiful Elly Morgan, and Elly Morgan is just going to have an amazing conversation with us about what it is that she does, what it is that she can bring value to this group, and anything else that comes up, because these conversations are always amazing.
Hello,
Welcome,
nice
Elly.
Thank you, ladies. Thank you for inviting me along to have a chat with you about what it is that I do. And yeah, I guess I've been undercover for a long time.
Tell us more. What does that mean?
Yeah. I get my healing journey and my connection with spirit started when I was 11.
Wow.
I had a perforated gangrenous appendix, and as a consequence of that, I had a near-death experience.
Wow.
Which at 11 years old, you know, you have no idea. I didn't remember it for a very long time. And then I went as you can tell from my accent, I'm not from Australia. I grew up in Wales in the UK and came here in 1988. So I was just turning 30 as we came. So talk about your Saturn return. This is where it landed me.
Yeah.
So as part of my dabbling, shall we call it, in the spirit world, and and just the universal energies that come along with that too, I went at one point in time to see a lady, I believe it was Erica Clement, who's still around doing spirit drawings, and she drew a picture of a spirit guide. And I took one look at this picture and I thought, I know you. I know. Now, where do I know you from? And it was almost like I had some sort of an amnesia block on the near-death experience, because after seeing that picture, as the course of the evening went on, all of the memories came back. And I can remember seeing this person who met me when I went through the light. And I wanted to come home. I can remember the conversation saying, but I want to come home. Wow. And he said to me, my child, you can come, but you will need to return. You've agreed to do work. And I can remember thinking, but I was 11. Like, not work when you were 11. You just play and you just go to school. And I can remember thinking those things at the time. And I sort of like put it to almost to one side, but I was still investigating on the other side. So, like you sort of do a lot of things when you're on this pathway to find out what resonates with you. And I would say that I am probably clairsentient more than clairvoyant or clairaudient, because to me, it's all about the gut and the gut feeling. I'm working as a health professional for too many years to mention. I can always remember being in the right place at the right time to stop a major event happening for a patient.
Wow.
Cardiac arrest, in my 45 years of nursing, I've never seen a cardiac arrest. Which, when I say that to other professionals, they go, oh, you must have. And I go, no, because I was always sort of guided. And it was almost as if I headed things off at the pass. So in respect of my journey around facilitating family constellation work, and for the uninitiated, that is just an amazing way of feeling the field. So you feel the energy field, but the field allows you to look at your ancestral traumas in a way that you would not expect them to be revealed to you. So you have a person that represents an issue or a place or a time or a person that is coming up for you. You might have a repeating pattern and you think, this is just not who I am. What is going on here? So a family constellation allows you to look at the repeating pattern, And often somebody in our generation, so like mine or yours, Ellie, or yours, Cat, you stand up to resolve the harms, shall we say, of the past, because it gets, it's intergenerational trauma. It gets passed down the line.
Yeah.
There is more and more scientific evidence to back up what the intuitives, shall we say, know about it. But when you're actually in the field, it's amazing how you take on almost the persona. It's not acting, it's you just come from what you feel, and the amount of resolve that you can have with that, like, is amazing. And from my perspective, that taught me so much about inherited trauma.
Yeah.
Just
and Ellie, I've had the privilege to attend your family constellations. I went firstly as a representative, and it blew my mind, like opened my eyes to this whole new thing. And then I came back as the constellation, and just firstly being the representative, as you said, you take on, you even speak, differently, you feel whatever you take on in your body. And then seeing as a constellation, my stuff, my cycles, my family, everything played out in front of me, and looking at it, it's incredible.
And if you try and explain to people what it is and how effective it is, it's really difficult for people to understand.
It is. You really just have to go.
A massive change and an impact on you.
You have to experience for yourself.
It's almost like if you come in as a representative, that's a really good way to be introduced to it, because in reality, the universe places the people in the constellation group that need to be there. And often whoever is having a constellation, there will be somebody in the group, if not all of the ones that are in the group, that can relate to what is happening with the constellation. Because I'm pretty sure that when you came as a representative, you could get, what it was that was going on for other people.
I did. I saw that mirrored. I really saw the mirror of what was coming through for me, and I had so many shifts just being that representative. So much healing.
I mean, sometimes it takes about 3 months for you to integrate what is, even as a representative, to just integrate what it is that is happening within the field at that point in time. To actually go, oh, hang on a minute, I don't do that anymore. This is what I would normally be doing at this point in time. And then you realize that the shifts are happening, and they're that subtle that you don't even realize that they've happened. Until you're doing some reflection work. So it's amazing. It is really an amazing, which has taken me on an amazing journey as well.
Can I ask, for anybody, I'm really new to the constellation stuff. I'm very, very, interested and very excited about, maybe going to one myself. But it's also very scary at the same time, because I know I'm going to be confronted, with a lot of things that maybe I'm not ready to deal with. However, if somebody is ready to deal with that type of thing, what kind of things would somebody be generally pulled towards, to do a family constellation? Is it, something that's, like you said, like a behavioral pattern or something like that? I mean, what type of things is it usually that people would come to you and say, I want to heal this, and then you say, okay, let's do a family constellation?
So somebody would come to me and they would say, say, for instance, somebody came along and they were having issues with their siblings, and they wanted to look at why their siblings were no longer speaking with them, and they wanted to find some resolve on that. And it actually went back to...
Do you know my life?
No. It went back to when they were kids, and there was quite a traumatic event that occurred. And with that, without giving too much away, just in case the person is watching, because it is a personal thing for people, it just made them realize what they came to look at and what they then actually did look at. The field just takes you there. So it's never, I feel, it's never that you're not ready to deal with it. It's that maybe it is your fear that is stopping you because you think you're going to find out something that you really don't want to know. But whatever that it is, you will only ever be sent things to deal with that you can handle.
Correct. Yeah, absolutely. I love how you put that. Thank you.
Yeah, the same applies.
Yeah, so, because I think that's so important, just to kind of hit that on the head, that fear, that a lot of the time, a lot of people don't move past their issues because there is that fear, there is that block, there is that something that's keeping them stuck. So just being in like something like a family constellation, especially like, you know, like you said, the generational traumas, like so many people don't actually understand that the traumas that they're living with currently are actually, you know, come from generations before them. And until they are willing to be that cycle breaker and wanting to get really deep on that generational stuff, we can't heal that for the next generation. So this sounds like it's a really beautiful process.
There's also a fantastic Netflix series on at the moment called Another Self, which is it's Turkish, but they're sort of like overspoken in English, but it is about family constellations and how it works.
I'm gonna watch that.
And it's like, it's amazing. It really explains it well. Family constellations has been going in Europe for probably over 40 years. It's got to be over 40 years. So it's been developed and refined. And it was a fellow called Bert Hellinger, who's now passed on, who sort of developed family constellation work as a result of I think he was a Jesuit priest or something like that in Africa. And he worked with the tribes and saw how they revered the ancestors. Then he went back to Germany, and he was in post-war Germany, and people were coming to him with issues that they couldn't understand where they'd come from. And he was doing psychotherapy, and out of his work with people that maybe their family members had survived the war in Germany or various places in Europe, and some of them had been in the concentration camps and survived, but as the time had gone on, it was never spoken about. So people didn't really know what the traumas were that the family had been through. And I guess from the people that had experienced those things, they just wanted to get on with their life. And you don't understand the impact of the trauma that you're actually passing on to your family. So these people would come with a repetitive issue. And when it was looked at, he would find that it was something to do with the family that had, you know, preceded them, and put all of that together and then created the family constellation way of doing things. And that in, I think it's the Netherlands, medical students actually have to undergo a constellation so they can understand the impact of trauma on their patients.
I love that.
Absolutely. It's quite, you know, it's quite proactive in Europe. Well, in, you know, across the Germany and Hungary, and there's Polish people, and there's lots of people over there. So I guess Australia is now fortunate.
I was just going to say, is this something that Australia is starting to adopt more, or is there a reason why we haven't adopted it?
I've got no idea why we haven't adopted, and I guess it's all in perfect timing, isn't it? You know, and it's about people pioneering whatever the it is. You know, you know, there's lots of people in Australia that came from Europe post-war, you know, as part of the migration push to occupy the country, that has also brought their traumas with them. You don't just leave it behind you. It just goes in that backpack that you carry with you until you decide to unpack it.
Absolutely. What made you decide to get into family constellations?
I went as a representative. So Susan Altschwager was my teacher, and Susan had just started on her constellation journey, and a friend of mine said, oh, Susan's coming to my place, would you be interested in coming along to support? And I went, oh yeah, I'll do that. And I was the representative, and I ended up in tears because the person that whose constellation it was, and I stepped in as a mum, as her mum, And yeah, it was just stuff that went on in that constellation that really touched me. And I thought, I cannot believe I've been put in this position and this person is saying what she's saying to me. And it resonated so strongly with my own life. And I thought, yeah, I've got to do this. I've got to do this. So I've trained at 2 levels of constellation. So
amazing. And is this something you offer every month, or is it, do you have sessions?
Well, I've been doing individual constellations for a while. So I think I did my first round in 2016, 2017. So there was I think about 9 modules in the process. There was sort of a monthly thing that we went to. And then I did the second lot. So in between the first and the second, I was doing other stuff and around constellation work. And then I did the second and I thought, oh yeah, I'll step out and do this. It's almost like the timing wasn't right because of family things that were happening.
Yeah.
So I carried on doing one-on-ones and then thought, no, I'm going to step out and do this. So yeah, now I've actually stepped out and I'm doing it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Do you run them? Do you run like monthly constellations?
No, I've been doing them every sort of 2 to 3 months because of work and family commitments. But from January, I'm actually going to be located at Christie's Beach.
Beautiful.
So I will be doing all sorts of energy work there, not just constellation work, but I will be teaching the Shati from the healer training through to the ascension training. I'll offer some meditation workshops. And I've got other people that would like to do things there. So I guess we might end up with quite a nice spiritual hub.
Yeah, sounds amazing. Ellie and I do some of our workshops down there as well. We rent out the space for our workshops. It's just a beautiful space with the energy.
And you'll also be welcome when I'm there too.
Thank you. And Ellie, you're also doing meditation at the moment. Are you offering meditation?
Yeah, from the 7th of October, I'll be offering meditation on a Friday morning. Just for, sort of like drop the kids off at school and come along and do a bit of a meditation or kindy or wherever you're dropping them to.
Lovely.
So and I'd like to organise some healer circles as well, because there are a fair few people that have been trained in a Shati, but they like, where do they go to practice and also to receive healing? As healers, we're very good at giving, but we're a bit reluctant to take it back. So I think organising some healer work would be good.
I'd be so open to that. So absolutely, that's something I've been putting in my back pocket for a long time, but I've been definitely interested in either facilitating or trying to open something like that, because I think it's even attending. Because I think it's so important for healers to be able to unite and have something that we know ourselves. If we're not looking after ourselves, who's looking after us? So if you have a place like a healing circle that you can do that together with other healers, that's just a beautiful space. Beautiful.
And they're like, from my, without trying to give too much away, like I'd also like to maybe offer to the community. So for the people that have been qualified in a Shati, and they may be a part of the healer circle, as in that the wider Shati qualified people would maybe like to offer that to the community, say once a month, by donation, and maybe give that donation to a worthy cause.
That's
so like each month it would be something different.
Absolutely. That's beautiful.
So that's on the cards as well.
Amazing, Ellie. So where can people find you, Ellie, if they'd like to know more about your meditations, or when you moved to Christie's Beach and you're doing all the Ashati and your constellation stuff? We'll drop the links down below in the video.
Okay, so I've got a Facebook page called Take a Moment in Time with Ellie, and the place at Christie's Beach will be called that as well. I may drop the Ellie and just call Take a Moment in Time. Because there'll be more than me there. So that leaves it open for others. So
nice.
I
like that.
Yeah, and I'm in the process of having a website built as well.
Yeah.
So
yeah, exciting, beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, watch this space, everyone. Ellie, that was amazing. Thank you for sharing your journey.
thank you.
Like inspiring from the age of 11 to hear, you know, your experiences and just your journey from then. I'm inspired.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, from even there, like what you're planning to do with your next phase and the next journey. Yeah, we're in there. We're here to support you and do whatever we can to help out. So
yeah,
and likewise, you know, that we should, you know, we're a sisterhood and we should be supporting each other.
Absolutely. There's no competition. And I love that we can, you know, create together and collaborate and come together and share our ideas and just jump in to want to support each other. This is what we're all about as well. So yeah,
So
absolutely.
thank you so much.
You're welcome.
We will see you all guys next time on the next Healing Conversations with Cat and Ellie. And if you want to jump in on one, just reach out because we'd love to have you on.
Beautiful.
All right.
Thanks,
That
everybody.
Ellie, not this Ellie.
I'm going to stop the recording now.